Hello there and welcome back to another review. Today we'll be looking at hopefully the first of many of these dinosaur fossils, and it is indeed the T-Rex skull. I think this set has 577 pieces or somewhere in that range and retails for £35, and of course, as always, you can now see the other prices on your screen. If you don't see the price for your location, do let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to add it in the next review, as I am trying to capture everyone. So I've picked the 5 most popular locations based on my viewers, and I think they're the 5 most popular locations for Lego in general. But this set is so cheap. I think it comes at 6p per piece, and you are getting a few smaller pieces. There are a lot of 1x1 cheese slopes, and of course you've got all the teeth for the dinosaur, a lot of 1x2s. I think the biggest piece you get is actually this stand, which is a brand new Technic element. We'll take a look at that in a minute, but it's great value and I couldn't resist picking this up day one. So I'm very happy I've got this. And before we get into the actual build itself, in my 2024 battle pack, which I'm going to be calling it the 2024 battle pack, we'll probably get another this year. We don't know how many sets we're going to get this year. Hopefully a record breaker for Lego. It'd be nice to see them hit the 1,000 mark at some point, especially with the 900 and something sets released in the last few years. But in my 2024 battle pack set, I mentioned about the second bag, I think it was, being too big, and compared to bag 1 and 3 it was massive. And in my video I also said that it was the only bag that included a smaller bag in it. Perhaps that was to stop it sealing in the smaller bag within the edges of the larger bag, and it's a bit confusing when I try to explain it, but basically to stop this from happening. So bag 1 of my T-Rex fossil, and my fiance was actually building the horn tail, and the same thing happened to her in one of the bags. So I guess that's not the reason, as this is the only bag that can really get caught in the others. Of course, with paper bags, I don't know if this will solve the problem, because I've seen a lot of smaller plastic bags in the paper. They're sort of a hybrid bag combination, which I can't wait to try out. Hopefully I get a set soon that has paper bags, because the boxes are smaller. I can't see why they couldn't have just made all of these paper bags. Perhaps they're still trying to use the last of their plastic, but as you can see, the bag is actually sealed in the top bit, just that corner bit there, and I did manage to open it without even separating the two, as you also can see. But I thought it was funny, I mentioned it in my battle pack video. Of course, I built that just before the video, and since that video I have seen it in not only 1 but 2 sets. So I wonder if this will be solved by Lego switching to paper bags. I don't assume so, because it's pretty much the same heat sealing they're probably going to use, but it'll be very interesting to see if this occurs. Anyway, that's enough talking about these plastic bags. Let's get on to the plastic bricks. And I think this is going to be one of the better shots throughout the video, where you can actually see the size of this T-Rex skull. If you've been in store, if you know how big the box is, it's quite a slim box, and I really like the fact that Lego are sort of sizing down their boxes. They are definitely still a bit too big for what they need to be, but the size of the skull on the box pretty much matches the size of the skull in real life. Of course, we'll get on to the, I guess, play features. Although limited, there are a few in this set, and I just think it's a great way to show just how big it is. If this was actual size, I think it might actually be a little bigger, especially you can see with the paw print here is the bit of the giveaway. The skull looks the same, but this paw print on the box is definitely a bit smaller. So we'll get rid of the box now, as when you are building the set, the first thing you come across past all the QRs is actually this page here, where it compares the Lego T-Rex skull to an actual T-Rex skull. 382 bricks out of the 577 odd have gone to the skull itself, and as you can see, that compares with 46 bones in an actual T-Rex skull. This is a really fun fact. I really like Lego have done this, because this isn't a sort of 18 plus set. They didn't need to include any facts in it, and actually it does show some clips from the movie on the right hand side, and I think these are from various movies. You've got 2 T-Rexes fighting each other from later on in Jurassic Park. This might even be a scene from Jurassic World. Of course, the mosquito from the first movie that they used to extract the dinosaur's DNA. And you've even got the T-Rex right at the end of the first movie, having defeated the raptors and knocked down the T-Rex skeleton statue. And the QR code here actually takes you to the Lego Jurassic page, where you can watch a bunch of videos promoting their other sets. And then you straight on into the build. But This T-Rex skull is actually the 4th cheapest Jurassic set you can pick up right now. I'll put the 3 sets on screen now that you can pick up for cheaper than this build, which is actually quite good considering this is a brand new set and it's one of the cheapest that we're getting. So it's great value, of course. This many pieces, this price, 6p per piece. You can't really beat it with many other themes. So it is very nice, and the first thing you saw earlier is the skull moving. So I think first we'll take a look at the T-Rex skull, which I do believe just pops off this stand here, which is quite nice. In fact, I should probably have taken off this black bit at the back, which does hold it on, but we'll take a look at that once I'm putting the skull back on. This skull is, well, quite a sizable model. You can see it takes up pretty much the whole of my hand, and it does have that moving jaw. It only clips back one and sort of forward again because it is on that Technic hinge piece. There are 2 pieces just in the gap here and the same the other side that sort of lock it at them 2 angles. You've actually got another Technic piece making sure that the jaw doesn't snap too much closed, and this piece on the top I guess does move. It's not really meant to, it doesn't clip down, but I mean, as far as the skull goes, I'm pretty sure a T-Rex can't extend its nose, but it is an amazing model, pretty much from all angles. I guess the back is a bit more lackluster as it's just the back of the skull, and of course you've got the connector there. But with all the limited studs showing, there are so many snot techniques with this model, and of course you've got the nice snapping feature, which I think it does look much more menacing with it open, but I do really like the look of it shut. It just looks more like a T-Rex, and with the studs on the bottom here, that long plate running through, you can definitely attach this to a body of a T-Rex. That would be an awesome mock that, honestly, I might look at doing in the future, having a full T-Rex skeleton, which, if you would like to see that, do let me know down in the comments. This skull is just so detailed, all the different intricate holes throughout it, and all the different bone-like structures, all the points and the sharp edges, that LEGO tends to be quite flat. And we've seen, even with builds such as the giant UCS Chewbacca model, which definitely was a bit squared off to some sides, they've definitely pulled through with this model. You've even got 2 holes at the top, at the back there, and just a few curves where needed, but mostly they stick to sharp edges and of course the pointy teeth, which you don't want to get your hand trapped in. So we'll put that to the side. It does stand up on its own, and I do believe the site does show the footprint also detached from the wider model. Now this is definitely going to be a bit harder to do, but I'm going to do it on camera just so you see how easy it is. It's only the 2 hinge clips that keep it on, so it is a nice display, but if you did want them detached, I guess you can just clip them off. The only problem with this bottom bit is it's really meant to be attached. You can see at the bottom we've got this whole mechanism, which I guess does pull off, and you can, well, you can't declip the top one, so I guess we'll leave the plaque on. Bad news about the plaque. It is a sticker. I don't know if the camera can, yeah. You can see where the light ends. It is a stickered piece. I would have loved for this to have been printed. Really, it needs to be printed. It might have driven up the price by about a £5 or so because of, it just is more expensive to print a number of pieces than it is to print a sticker to go along with the set. But it really does need to be printed. All the other UCS plaques for Marvel, for Star Wars are printed. And as you can see, there's actually a bump in my one just at the top there. But we even get all the helmet line plaques printed. It's a disappointment that this is printed. But honestly, for how much the set cost, I'm not going to let it detract from the set. But you do have the paw print there. If you do build a body for the skeleton, and when I eventually do look at doing it, this is going to look awesome underneath it, as even if you just create a skeleton foot to go inside it, it would just look really cool together. But back to clipping it back, all you do is put this black piece and line it up with this round sort of underside tile on the front, and these are the 2 hinge pieces that we will be clipping back to the set. It's a bit easier to do the other way around, and then we'll get to look at another feature sort of hidden around the back of this set, and you might have noticed it already. Right down here we have this 1x1 brick, and it is indeed the mosquito carrying that dino DNA. And as you can see, there is a nice mosquito printed on there, and they've actually got some yellow sort of marks around it to represent that this mosquito is trapped in some sort of resin or amber, as you see in the movie. And it is really cool that they've included this just at the back. There's no printing on any of the other sides, and they've just got a grey cheese slope on top. But I really like they included this in the set. Of course, this is how they're able to recreate the dinosaurs alongside all the fossils that have already been gathered. And they do fuse them with reptile DNA, which is stated in the movie, which is why they don't look like how they would back in the day, which is sort of caught up in Jurassic World when they look more like birds than lizards. And of course, a giant plot of the movie, frog DNA, that's how they are able to reproduce. Honestly, if you haven't checked out Jurassic Park and are watching this video, do check it out. I'm not sure if it's on any streaming services at the minute, but it's a great movie nonetheless, and I really had fun watching it whilst I built this set. And of course, that goes right where we got it from, just down here, and sort of acts as a support for this print. I guess you can't push it against it, but you can have it at a few varied angles, and if you really wanted to, even display this sort of base plate that has all the dino facts just on the floor. But before we place it all together and take a look at that new Technic stand piece, as you can see, the plaque does have a few facts on it, including the meaning of the name Tyrannosaurus Rex being King Tyrant Lizard. They were 5.2 meters tall, 13.5 meters wide, and weighed 8.4 tons, which is quite a bit, but I guess it is quite a big dinosaur. It's a carnivore, of course, which means it's a meat eater, and unlike all the other herbivores, which solely snack on vegetation, and its habitat is the Isla Nublar, which is something I didn't know. It's quite nice. It does have that Jurassic World logo on the left. I would have preferred a Jurassic Park logo perhaps, but honestly, it's not a deal breaker, and LEGO are making more Jurassic World sets, so it does make sense and goes nicely with the others. And speaking of others, it would be very nice to get a few more of these fossils. Again, someone did point out on a video I saw, it says fossils, you get the skull, you do also get the dino footprint. That is fossils, but I do hope that there's a few more of these in the works. I'd love to see a Triceratops similar size to this, or even a collection of smaller ones such as raptors, Dilophosauruses, and they could even do a few more like Parasauruses. The list goes on. Dinosaurs are so popular, and especially still to this day, they could just really keep doing these as their own line. But this new Technic piece, I'll put an image up on screen so you see it a bit clearer, as it is again in that black color, which doesn't show up too well against other black bricks. But there are actually two of these that are Technic pinned in the center and bottom together to sort of hold up sturdy to each other, and they just attach to all these bricks at the top, including two Technic bricks, which are plates with that Technic pinhole at the bottom to just come out. And this is basically just a long tube that goes down to the bottom and has some 2x4 sort of tile piece connected to the bottom. That is the one piece, that tube and the tile. And all you do to connect and disconnect, you've got this black piece which mostly does hold on the T-Rex's skull, but you've got to line up these two, I guess, snot bracket plates on the back, and that is what this 2x4 black tile clips to. I guess it also covers up some of that bottom bit of the skull and just make sure the T-Rex skull is held in there quite nicely. But that is the T-Rex skull. Again, it's a great set. If you do want to pick it up, you can grab this straight from LEGO or wherever you buy your LEGO. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like and let me know what other dinosaurs you'd love to see in this model. Honestly, if LEGO don't make them, I'll probably turn to mocking them out myself. So do let me know what you're interested in seeing for the next dinosaur fossil, and hopefully LEGO will come out with it soon. If not later this year, then perhaps every January we'll get a new one. I'll definitely be very interested in that. And as always, may the bricks be with you.